Hello, my name is Hakon, and welcome back, all you fabulous fighting fantasy aficionados, for another episode of playing City of Thieves. This is Fighting Fantasy Gamebook number 5, written by Ian Livingston. It's quite an exciting one. There seems to be no avoiding battles in this one. There seems to be lots of items one needs to pick up. And today I'm going to do something slightly differently. Because I did mention this last time, of course, for anyone who saw my last episode. And if you haven't seen it and you want to watch this, you should actually watch the last ones as well. And the reason is that I've got to a point where, after a few playthroughs, where I know where to go through the city to find the essential items that I know for sure that I need. I know how to get them. and so I've got to a point where if I want to play again now, I would basically take the same route that I just did the time before until I know of anything else that I might need that I should be looking for. So therefore, I decided last time that I would save the game, so to speak. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start from just after you leave the city and play from there and make at least one different choice from what I did last time. So to just do a recap of what's going on here. So in City of Thieves, you're starting off, your character is a, well, hang on, just give me a moment. Before I start talking too much, I need a sip of tea. Lovely. Okay, so you are a hero, a sellsword, a sword for hire. And you have quite a reputation as being the one to get the right treasure found, or the item retrieved, or the person or evil being killed, because that's the kind of stuff you do, and you do it better than most others. Yeah, it's almost a bit excessive, I think, actually, in the beginning here. So you get to, on your wanderings, you arrive at a town called Silverton. Very nice place, but something is going on in Silverton, and you feel like there's something amiss when you arrive. Everyone seems a bit scared. You notice there are more bars across the windows, sort of iron bars and block doors and things. And as you arrive, it's about nightfall, and somebody calls out that everyone go inside because it's sunset. So what happens there is that you go into this inn and you get a room for the night, and then somebody comes knocking at the door after it's been blocked. And it turns out to be the mayor. Now, the mayor comes over to you and sits down because he knows about you from reputation, and he says that he tells you what's been going on. So the story starts that there is an evil being of some sort. We don't know exactly what kind. We just know it's some kind of undead, multi-dimensional, possibly multiplane being called Zanbar Bone, who sent his minions, who look a bit like the ring wraiths in the beginning of Lord of the Rings, with a sort of the hooded, almost sort of skeletal features underneath, and the hooded and hoods and cloaks, and riding on horses and things, with hissing voices. And they came to say that to the mayor. They say that Zanbar Bone wants your daughter for himself. And the mayor, whose name is Owen Caroliff, he said no. And so they went away. And the very same night, the town was then ravaged by moondogs. Moondogs came obviously from Zanbar Bone, and started killing people, going into people's homes, and everyone then had to start, and this always happened after dark, and everyone had to block their doors. There's a curfew, have to bar their windows, etc., etc. And of course, Owen Caroliff, the mayor, he's being very stubborn and selfish, of course. He doesn't want to give his daughter to Zanbar Bone, even at the expense of many other innocent people dying. And so he's asked you for help. In return, you'll get 30 gold pieces up front, and also a magnificent high-quality broadsword that, if you ever were to lose it, which can happen in the game, your fighting prowess actually is reduced. So we can presume it's a kind of magic broadsword, or certainly one of such exquisite quality it actually is better than whatever you had before, which must have been really good considering your reputation. So you are tasked by Owen Caroliff, the mayor of Silverton, to go and find his old friend Nicodemus, who lives in Port Blacksand, also known as the City of Thieves. Port Blacksand is the place where all your pirates, your thieves, your thugs, your ne'er-do-wells, and your all those kinds of people, they go, and of course that's where you go to fence your stolen goods, all that kind of stuff. It's a very dangerous place, and because people are after your money and they don't care so much about your life, they would be rather just kill you and dump you and take your 2 gold pieces and they'd be happy. So nobody Owen Caroliff knows actually wants to go, and so he wants you to go because he knows you'll be brave enough to do it, to go to Port Blacksand and talk to Nicodemus, who lives there, to get away from everyone else, and of course ask for his help to defeat Zanbar Bone. So you do. You get 30 gold pieces, the sword, and you set off to Port Blacksand. You get into town, and that's where the game starts. And of course, I'm not going to do that now because I'm just going to do exactly the same as last time. So what I've been doing in Port Blacksand, just to do a quick recap, I'll just get my map now so I can see if I can remember. So you get to the gates. You have to find a sort of a nice way to get through the gates. You can either bribe the guards, you can fight them, you can kill them. You can say that you're going to Nicodemus and then get thrown into a jail cell. And whatever the case is, you do get through, and then you have a few different paths to choose. My last 2 games, I've chosen to go on the eastern path, which is, what's it called again? Clock Street, where you'll find a few interesting items. And then you get to a sort of market square, with the different stalls, and you get to buy some things, and some of those things I didn't of course get to buy this time, and they may or may not become essential items that I would need later, but I don't know. So at the moment I'll just leave it as is and bring the things that I bought last time, and we keep going from there. After that you get to a bridge, and under the bridge is where Nicodemus lives. And he tells you that to defeat Zanbar Bone, you have to. He's only vulnerable after when it's dark. Is it only when it's dark? Yes. And during the daylight hours, he's actually on a different plane of existence, so he's sort of away from this world. And in order to kill him, you need to first shoot a silver arrow through his heart. Although, does he actually have a heart? He's some kind of undead being, but be that as it may. And then you have to rub a compound into his eyes, consisting of hag's hair, lotus flower, and one more thing. What's that again? Black pearls. Those 3 things. And also, of course, Nicodemus says he can't help you because he's sort of retired. He doesn't want to be bothered by anyone, which is also why he lives under a bridge in Port Blacksand, of all places. But it tells you that is what you need to do to get it done. So so you set off, and he also gives you a map showing you how to get from Port Blacksand to the tower of Zanbar Bone. Right. So you keep going then, of course, and after this encounter with Nicodemus, this is when you start finding these items you need for the ingredients. And one of the first things you find is you go to a pirate ship, you find the black pearls, you go into the sewers where you find a hag with hair that you can cut off after you kill her. You also find there a mirror, which I do not know whether I will need or not. And then you get to a sort of public gardens, although you have to pay 1 gold piece to go in, so not that public, and where you can find a lotus flower. Also, it says right next to where it says "Do not pick the flowers." Also, there are a few options there of on the first street you go to right at the beginning. There's a place where you can find a magic helmet, which gives you +1 attack strength, and I found that, and I'm wearing it. And also after or just before the gardens, there's a place where you can buy a chainmail that gives you another +2. So at the moment, I got quite a good fighting ability because of the armor I'm wearing. Now after you get the lotus flower, you also need... Oh, that's one more thing I forgot to say, actually. In addition to the items you need to rub into his eyes, you can't do any of those things unless you also have a tattoo on your forehead with a white unicorn inside a yellow sun. And once you get to the city wall, there's a little alleyway where there's the best tattooist in town who charges you an exorbitant 10 gold pieces to give you that tattoo. So those are the things you need to defeat Zanbar Bone. At least on paper, that's what you need. And then you have to get out of town, and there are a few different ways of doing it. And of course, I did fail at this point the time before last time, when I actually managed to get stuck on the city wall and all the guards overwhelmed me, and that was the end of it. And I think I'll pick this up from actually after leaving town rather than exactly where I finished last time. So I'll go to the first paragraph after or as you're leaving town, and I'll start from there. So in a few moments I'll just get everything ready on my desk, and I'll be with you there, and let's get ready to play City of Thieves. Right, here we are. I've got everything ready. I've got my book, got my map, which I need to add to now. I've got my character sheet from last time, which I'm keeping. And I've got my pens and my dice. And my cup of Earl Grey, of course. Right. Now, one thing is different. The only thing that's different from when I finished the game last time is my skill is now back up to 11, but of course effective skill for fighting is 3 points higher. That's 14, which is perhaps too much, but we'll see whether that is going to be enough. I also have... That can't be right. Let's see. I've got seven potions, 7 provisions, and a potion of stamina, which will regain all my stamina. My luck is at the moment at full at 8 points, so not too bad, not too bad. And I will go in at paragraph 367, starting with that. Right. Oh yes, I've got 1 gold piece as well, because I gave my gold to the city guards to get out of town easily. Anyway, so I'm going to go to 201. That is sort of the first proper paragraph outside of town. So, following Nicodemus's map, you start your long walk north to the guarded tower of Zanbar Bone, the Night Prince. You walk through woods and fields. You are able to relax a little in the pleasant countryside and breathe the fresh air with its wonderful scents. As the light fades, you decide to camp under a huge elm tree. You cook a meal of stewed rabbit and mushrooms before settling down to a long, deep sleep. Did I focus this camera? I think I did. I'll just double check that now. Okay, so if I go over here... Yeah, that looks good. In the morning, you look around for a yew tree and cut a long branch from it, with which you make a bow to fire the silver arrow. That's not how you make a bow from a yew tree, but I'll let that pass. As you test the bow for accuracy, you are suddenly aware of a white dove sitting on a low branch nearby. There is a small piece of paper attached to its foot, which it lets you remove without flying off. There is a message on the paper which reads, "Dear friend, I am afraid I must be getting too old to be of use to anybody. I regret that I have misinformed you about the compound needed to kill Zanbar Bone. You must use only 2 of the 3 ingredients I told you, but I cannot remember which 2. I can only suggest you try hag's hair and black pearls together." Excuse me. Oh, got something at the back of my throat there. Sorry, I'll try again. I can only suggest you try hag's hair and black pearls together, or the hag's hair and lotus flower together, or the black pearls and lotus flower together. Apologies. Good luck. N. So that's from Nicodemus, obviously. You throw the message on the ground and curse. You change your mind a dozen times before making a decision. Finally, you make your choice and grind the two ingredients together on a flat stone. And I presume the reason we're not told what your decision is here is because you have to make it a bit later when it actually is relevant. Which presumably actually reduces your chances of winning the game by 2/3 just from that one choice. So this is going to be interesting to do the maths on this one. You set off again, but it is not long before your surroundings become less welcoming. The trees are twisted or stunted, and there are no birds to be heard. You must be approaching the domain of the Night Prince. Suddenly, to your left, you hear rustling and grunting in the bushes. It is a wandering monster which has been attracted by your scent. Roll one die. Actually, I forgot about this on last time. Actually, I should save the game after this, actually, because I did this fight and that gave me an item. So I'm gonna, in this one, I'll actually forgotten about this. Last time I rolled for 5 and I got the Ape Man, and I got an item from that encounter. Let's just see what that was again. I always thought that was a bit of fun. So, because the next paragraph it says, if you fought the Ape Man, turn to 312. And if you fought anything else, go to some other paragraph. And then it says, you notice that the Ape Man's left hand is curled into a fist. You prise open the fingers and find a tiny gold trinket in the shape of an owl. There's a magic talisman which will allow you to see in the dark. So I thought that was quite fun, and I think I'll want to keep that for this playthrough, and I saved my game after that, obviously. So you place the owl carefully in your pocket and continue your journey. Turn to 217. Okay. Right, I'll start here. Actually, I'll just do that. I'll fight the moondogs. I've got some moondogs coming up here. You walk all day until you reach the hill shown on Nicodemus's map, upon which the Night Prince's tower stands. All is quiet, and there is an unpleasant smell of decay in the air, as there always is when there's something evil about in Ian Livingstone's books. It seems like it anyway. Shadows start to creep along the ground as the moon rises into the night sky, and you see the foreboding silhouetted shape of Zanbar Bone's tower pointing up into the sky like a black finger. Yeah, I'm glad he said black finger there. Could have said something else, but that wouldn't have been very, very PG, would it? You check all your possessions before drawing your sword and marching towards the arched wooden entrance door. Suddenly you hear a shrill howl and swing around to see 2 pairs of eyes staring at you. They belong to moondogs, Zanbar Bone's trained killer hounds. Fight them one at a time. So, at the moment, for battle purposes, I've got a +1 helmet, a +2 chainmail, so that's +3. And so I'm 14 skill for battle purposes and 19 stamina. And this is a 9, 10 moondog and an 11, 9 moondog. Because last time I beat them without getting injured at all, which isn't that likely to happen. So anyway, first one, I've got a 5 skill advantage. And he rolls an 8. I roll a 5, so he's down to 8. I'll just put that, I'll just leave that there. He rolls an 8, I roll a 7, he's down to 6. He rolls a 7, I roll an 8, he's down to 4. He rolls a 5, I roll a 6, he's down to 2. He rolls a 9, and I roll a 10, and the first one is dead. The second one is a bit stronger, only got a 3-point advantage. He rolls an 11. I rolled a 5, so that is me down to 17. He rolls 11 again. I roll 2, so I'm down to 15, so I could die here actually. He rolls a 7. I roll a 4, that's a break even. He rolls a 7. I roll a 5. It's down to 7. He rolls an 8. I roll a 6. It's down to 5 hit points. He rolls a 5, I roll a 7, it's down to 3. He rolls a 4, brilliant, and I roll a 3, it's down to 1. And finally he rolls a 9, and I roll 7, so he is dead, and I'll eat ration. Is that what I did last time? Did I get injured in that battle last time? I can't remember. Maybe I did. Anyway, so I might actually I might have 7 rations now. I'm not sure, but I'll eat 1 ration and bring my stamina back up to 19 before I move on. And I win, and I go to 259. You wipe the blood from your sword and walk to the wooden door. You try the handle, but it is locked. If you have a skeleton key, turn to 228. Now, there is a place you can buy a skeleton key. In the first time I played, if you go the Western Street, whatever it's called again. Do I have it here? Key Street, actually. Yes, if you go on Key Street, you actually get you're able to buy a key. So there's Key Street, Market Street, and Clock Street. Right. I don't know if that's going to be essential because, yeah. Otherwise, you may either pull on the cord hanging down in front of the door, turn to 4, or attempt to charge the door open with a shoulder, which I did last time, and that doesn't make any sense. You just lose skill and you injure yourself. Okay, so where are we? 259. I'm going to ring the bell. You hear a bell ring on the other side of the door, and a few minutes later the door is opened by a thin, pale-skinned man with dark, hollow eyes who is wearing a servant's uniform. In a cold, hissing voice, he says, "Yes?" If you wish to tell him you are a lost traveller, turn to 339. If you wish to attack him with your sword, turn to 35. Right. I'm going to say I'm a lost traveller, so I'm not going to attack him this time. So I'm going to go with a peaceful option. The man looks at you and smiles, saying, "We do not get many visitors in these parts, but I'm sure my master would wish you to have a room for the night. Do come in." Oh, I'm not going to do the voice. Okay. He steps back and you follow him into a beautiful marble-floored hallway. There are portraits and shields hanging on the walls, and a spiral staircase leads up to the floor above. He asks you to follow him up the staircase and offers to carry your backpack for you, which you allow him to do. You can see that the staircase winds its way all the way up to the top of the tower, but the man steps off at the first floor and walks into a large room, placing your backpack on a made-up bed. He tells you that this is your room for the night and walks out, telling you that you will meet his master at breakfast. If you wish to lock the door and go to bed, turn to 288. If you wish to explore the tower after waiting a few minutes, turn to 77. So, now, last time I did start exploring, and I think I'll continue exploring this time as well, and see what happens. So I'm going to go to 77. You walk quietly back to the staircase and climb up to the second floor. Again, there is a door at the end of the landing. If you wish to open the door, turn to 292. That's what I did last time. If you wish to climb up to the third floor, turn to 310. So I'm definitely not opening this door because behind it there is a vampire. If you don't have garlic, you don't die actually. No, you become a vampire, so you live forever. But that's it. That's the end of the game. So I'm going to climb up to the third floor this time. And now I'm finally going into new territory, which is always very exciting. So you climb up to the third floor and see another door at the end of the landing. If you wish to open the door, turn to 263. Okay, so 263. Door. If you wish to climb to the next floor, turn to 65. Now, the previous floor was a death trap and an insta-death, actually. I think that this floor, definitely, there must be something that I can survive. Yes, famous last words. So I'm going to go to 263. Despite the light from the burning lanterns on the landing, you are unable to see anything inside the room. It is completely black. If you have a golden owl, turn to 153. If you do not, turn to 281. So I do have a golden owl. So we've got how 1, 5, 3, 2, 8, 1. So holding the golden owl in your hand, you're able to see into the pitch black room. Just in time, you see the tripwire across the doorway at your feet and the large crossbow pointing at you on the opposite wall. There is nothing else in the room. You decide to walk back to the staircase to climb up to the next floor. Okay, so just a trap in that case. So go to 65. So, okay. If that's all the golden owl does, then it's not a very essential item because your chance of getting it is just 1 in 6. So, and there's nothing you can choose to get. So, right. Let's see what the trap is on the next floor. On the next floor, there are 2 doors adjacent to one another on the landing. One is painted white, the other black. Suddenly, a voice calls out from nowhere, saying, "O foolish adventurer, why do you even consider it a remote possibility that you can defeat me, the almighty Zanbar Bone? I am following your every move, but you do not know where I am. Ha ha ha." Okay. Yeah. So, will you open the white door, 319, white. Open the black door, 96, black. Or carry on up the stairs, 197 stairs. Okay. Well, I have to open the black door, I think, because I'm curious, and that's the one that I think I'll take. You open the door and enter a room which is adorned with macabre objects and paintings. A black cat is sitting in front of a table covered in black cloth. 2 black candles are burning on either side of a mirror on the far wall. On the table lies an open chest containing a golden skull. Will you walk over to the chest? Close the door and open the white door if you have not done so already. Go back up the stairs. Oh, yes, so chest, if I want to have a look at it. Now, why would I go over to the chest to look at the golden skull? Is that going to help me in any way? And of course, unlike Ian Livingstone, I'm not lured by the gold and the treasure. So I'm just going to open the white door and have a look there. You enter a room which is dark and very cold. The walls and floor are made of rough stone, and the room is empty except for a decorated sarcophagus. There is a strong musty smell in the air. If you want to open the sarcophagus, turn to 352. You walk outside again, turn to 231. So we've got 231. Leave. Interestingly, it says that you have a paragraph to leave instead of a paragraph to go back up the stairs and through the door now. And 352 open sarcophagus. Now, of course, I'm all for sarcophaguses. Sarcophaguses. They always contain interesting things. Anyway, I do have a lantern with me, and I remember there's some other. Which one was that now? There wasn't another book. Yeah, if you bump into some mummies, if you have a lantern, you can actually light them on fire, and then you can escape that way. Open sarcophagus. I'm going to open the sarcophagus because I'm a bit curious to see what happens. So, 352. If you lift the lid of the sarcophagus and see a human body completely encased in old bandages. The light, although dim, has disturbed the sleep of a mummy, and it sits up, turning its head from side to side. It senses where you are and starts to climb out of its sarcophagus. It walks towards you with its arms extended. Yeah. Not cliche at all, is it? It walks towards you. Yeah, if you wish to fight the mummy, turn to 193. If you have a lantern, you may throw it at the mummy, turn to 106. So, okay, 193, fight, or 106 lantern. So I'll use a lantern, I suppose. The lantern breaks on impact with the mummy and covers it with burning oil. Flames spread quickly along the dry bandages, and the mummy is soon consumed by fire. If you wish to inspect the open sarcophagus, turn to 163. If you wish to leave the room immediately, turn to 231. So we've got leave or examine sarcophagus. I want to examine the sarcophagus, of course. Is there anything interesting there? The sarcophagus contains a gold ring which has an eye etched into its top. You have found the long-lost ring of the golden eye, fabled for its ability to allow its wearer to detect illusions. Okay, so that is golden eye ring. Okay. I have 2 luck points, which I don't have any room for, and leave the room 231. So down there again. And this was a ring. This was a different color. Ring, golden eye. Okay, so that might be useful. And let's see, I'll just move my window a little bit so I can see what I'm doing. Okay. Outside on the landing, you may either enter the black door or walk back to the stairs to climb up to the next floor. So I'm going up to the next floor, 197. On the next landing, judging from the how this bit of the map works now, it seems like this is obviously what I was supposed to be doing. I mean, not wait until the morning, I mean. And of course, that is probably why, and Nicodemus tells me specifically that you can't hurt Zanbar Bone in daylight. So if you wait until the morning, I'm sure that would be the end of the story. But I'll find that out later when I make my map. Right. On the next landing, there is a door with a black tower carved in ebony attached to it. There is also a black suit of armor standing outside the door. Will you inspect the suit of armor, open the door, or carry on up the stairs? So, right, so I'm just going like so. Okay. So we've got 3 options. I have 301. Armor, door, oh, we've stairs, door, and let's see, so that is 207, and that is 122. I suppose I'll inspect the suit of armor. Have a little look at that. There is a battle axe held in the iron-plated glove of the armor. If you wish to take the battle axe, turn to 214. If you wish to push the suit of armor onto the floor to make sure it is not booby-trapped, turn to 185. Now, I'm sort of feeling that the battle axe maybe has a life of its own if you try to take it. Sometimes that happens. Maybe I should push the thing. Take. I don't need a battle axe, do I? Take axe. 5. Push. I'm going to push it and see what happens. The suit of armor breaks up as it crashes onto the floor. It is no threat to you, and you may either open the door in front of you or walk back to the staircase and climb up to the next floor. So, I'm going to go to the door and have a look at what's going on there. The room you enter is full of debris and rotting food. Standing in the middle of all the mess are two men wearing tattered clothing. They have hollow eyes and vacant expressions. On seeing you, they pick up wooden sticks and advance towards you. If you wish to back out of the room and shut them in, turn to 277. If you wish to attack them, turn to 361. So we've got 277, close door, or 361, attack. Hollow eyes and vacant expressions. So the question is, are they zombies, in which case they're not that dangerous, or are they something more dangerous like ghouls? I don't know, it sounds a bit like zombies, so I'll attack them. The minded zombies step slowly towards you with their sticks raised in the air. Fight them one at a time. So, zombies. So, okay. Zombies and okay. So we have one at a time. So we got 6, 6, and 6, 7. I'm still 14, 19. So I've got an advantage of 8 on my rolls. So he rolls 4, 7. He rolls 10. I roll a 3. That's still a hit. He rolls 6, and I roll 4. So the first one is deader than before. Second one, 7, 4, 9, 7, 10, 2. That's actually a block. Nobody injures anyone. 6, 4, and 7, 8. And he is also deader than he used to be. If you win, turn to 297. So we've got 297 win. There is nothing of use to you in the room. The smell of the zombies and the debris is terrible, so you decide to leave immediately. You walk back to the staircase to climb up to the next floor. Okay, so that's no point going in there at all, actually. I'll just put a red thing there, even though it's not dangerous, but it's pointless. So 207. The staircase ends at a door. You turn the handle slowly and the door opens, much to your surprise, into open air. You walk outside onto the flat roof of the tower. Suddenly you are aware of movement in the sky and look up to see two large birds in the moonlight with long beaks and talons swooping down on you. There is no time to run for cover and you must fight the Death Hawks. So they've got a skill of 4. Okay, so that means that if they roll a 12 and I roll a 2, I don't injure them and they don't injure me. But if we roll anything else, I injure them, which means I don't have to roll anything because I actually win this battle on walkover. Yes. So we win that battle. Win. No reason to roll the dice. And you sit down to rest and plan what to do next. As you slump down on the cold stone floor, you inadvertently knock over a glass jar you hadn't seen before, which rolls against the wall and shatters. From the broken jar, a small man, some 15 centimeters high, steps out and walks over to you. He looks up at you with his hands on his hips and in a barely audible voice says, "Thank you very much. I've been trapped in that infernal jar for the last 100 years. Now, how can I repay you?" If you want to ask the whereabouts of Zanbar Bone, turn to 234, you wish to ask if you can heal some of your wounds, turn to 94. So, right, 94. Heal. And 2, 3, 4. Zanbar. Okay, so I'm going to ask about the whereabouts of Zanbar bone, of course, because I don't have any wounds to heal. Tiny man smiles and says, "Ah, well, if that's all you want, then that's simple enough. He's on the 4th floor in the room with the black door." Is he? Oh, the chest with the skull. I see. Ah, okay. Then he waves his arms at you and disappears in a small puff of smoke. You stand up and walk back down the stairs to the floor where there are 2 doors adjacent to each other on the landing. You breathe in deeply and turn the handle of the black door. Okay, so. Okay, that's an. So that was not treasure, that was actually Bone himself. Okay, so. I guess I got to see the other stuff first. You open the door and enter a room which is adorned with macabre objects and paintings. A black cat is sitting in front of a table covered in black cloth. 2 black candles. Somebody likes black, don't they? 2 black candles are burning on either side of a mirror on the far wall. On the table lies an open chest containing a golden skull. So the only option I haven't done now, of course, is walk over to the chest. So I'm going to go to 257. If you're wearing the ring of the golden eye, turn to 385. Okay, so we've got, I'll just move this up here. 385 golden eye, or not. So I've got the ring of the golden eye, which I just found. So I'm going to go to 385. A voice in your mind tells you that the chest is an illusion and does not exist. Also, you see that the black cat is not what you thought it was. Before you stands a black-robed skeleton with green translucent eyes wearing a golden crown on its skull. The Zanbar bone. Before you have time to notch your arrow, the Night Prince pulls 3 teeth from his mouth and throws them onto the floor. They explode in puffs of smoke, and out of them step 3 skeletons armed with swords. Fight them one at a time. Okay, so skeletons. So that is 7, 7, 8, 6, and 6, 7. Okay, so the first one I've got an advantage of 8 points on my rolls. So he rolls a 4. Now I'll do this a bit faster. I just, as long as he doesn't roll enough to break even, I'll just keep rolling for damage. So he needs to roll a 10 at least. So he rolls an 8, it means he's down to 5. He rolls a 4, he's down to 3. He rolls a 2, he's down to 1, and he rolls 9, so he is dead. Second one, I got an advantage of 6, which means he needs to roll a 6 or better to not get injured. So he rolls a 12. Okay, that's good. I roll a 7, so he's down to 4. He rolls a 9. I roll a 5. That's down to 2. He rolls 5, and he is also gone. Next one, I got an advantage of 7, which means he needs to roll 5 or better. He rolls 8. I roll 10. He rolls 4. Down to 3. He rolls 7. I roll 7. He's down to 1. He rolls 2 and is also deader than before. So, okay. I wonder what would happen if you don't have that ring, but yeah, I don't need to find out. Fight skeletons. So 203. Okay, let's see what happens next. The Zanbar bone walks towards you. Okay, so this is Zanbar bone. And of course, I have seen this picture sort of passing through on the way. Let's see, I'll just bring that up a little bit now. Bloody hell. Okay. I have to be careful when I push that button so I don't start recording video on my camera, because then the feed actually stops here. So, okay, there we go. Zombarbone walks towards you, trying to touch your exposed skin. What exposed skin? I've got chainmail and stuff. You throw down your sword and notch the silver arrow to your bow. You have only one chance. You take aim and release the bowstring. Test your luck. Okay, so this is obviously... Luck is very important right now. If you don't have good luck, then good luck to you. Okay, so if I don't roll... So basically, if you miss your luck roll now, that's the end of the game. So obviously, I'm gonna make this regardless. So just first I'll see if I actually make it without cheating, and then I'll cheat afterwards. So, and 8, and I'm lucky. Just and right. So if you're lucky, the arrow finds his mark and pierces the Night Prince through his robed chest. Turn to 244. If you're unlucky, the arrow misses the Night Prince and he advances to touch your arm. His skeletal fingers are draining your life away. You are now one of his undead servants. So that's a good way to... So actually, the chance of winning this game are going to be... this is going to be the lowest so far in the series when you start looking from the beginning. The Night Prince is paralyzed, but not for long. He can summon unearthly powers to defend himself, and you must act quickly. What compound will you rub into his eyes? And we got 3 options: hag's hair and black pearls and lotus flower and hag's hair. So 1 out of 3. Now, I'm not sure about the lotus flower. Hag's hair and black pearls. I'll go with hag's hair and black pearls for my first try. No, that's not right. You step back from the vile body of Zombarbone, waiting for him to decay. However, you have chosen wrongly. So, and this is just a random picking thing. I'm not going to go all the way through the game again to do this. So I'm going to go and try again. So black pearl and lotus flower. I'm going to keep trying now until I get it right. You step back. Okay, so that's exactly the same thing. You step back from the vile body of Zombarbone, waiting for him to decay. However, you have chosen wrongly. He pulls the arrow from his chest and rubs the compound from his eyes. He sees you and laughs. You are mesmerized by his power and are unable to move. He walks up to you and touches your face with his skeletal fingers. The life is being quickly drained away, and soon you will begin your undead existence as a servant of Zombarbone. So, lotus flower and hag's hair are actually the correct ones. You don't need the black pearls. Okay. That was a bit silly, actually. I mean, right at the end, giving you the option of only 3 things. And also, if... Yeah, I don't know. It just seems a bit contrived to me. Also, how you suddenly only needed 2 of them. Because it doesn't really give you any... It doesn't add anything to the game. It actually detracts from it, because now suddenly you are faced with making a choice for which you don't have any clues whatsoever, as far as I can tell, and right at the end, and it just doesn't make any sense. So there should have been really good clues as to which, because otherwise it feels a bit unfair again. Steve Jackson would have led some clues, surely. Anyway. Congratulations, you have killed Zombarbone, the infamous Night Prince. He decays before your eyes, becoming nothing more than a small pile of powder on the floor. Turn to 400. So I did have a few redos there, but I feel that the choice was not very fair to start with. You leave Zanbarbone's Black Tower as quickly as you can, not wishing to spend another moment in the infernal place. Before leaving, however, you set it alight so that no evil entity may ever again use it for foul deeds. Sleep the rest of the night and long into the next morning in Hayfield, before setting off for Silverton in the afternoon. Battle-weary and hungry, you arrive in Silverton the same evening. You are given a hero's welcome, and gift after gift is bestowed upon you. A feast is arranged, and there is laughter, music, and drinking in all the streets. Finally, Owen Caroliff makes a speech and presents you with a gold orb worth hundreds of gold pieces. The people of Silverton are joyous once again. Okay, so yeah. City of Thieves. Not sure about this book, actually. I mean, lots of people say it's their favorite, but after finishing it now, I think it's got some issues, and especially the sort of a contrived bit about having to pick random out of 3 at the end there. I mean, you might as well roll the die. I mean, yeah. Anyway, I certainly enjoyed playing it, but it's not going to be my favorite. It's going to be quite low on my list, actually, to be perfectly honest with you. I mean, I did enjoy the beginning rather well. I've got some nice atmosphere, some nice encounters, but as a game book, I wouldn't rate it that highly, actually. So, but still, I enjoyed playing it. I'm going to enjoy playing all these games now, and all these game books, and yeah. And I'll make some core comments on it, I suppose, when I do my aftermath episode, because then I'll also know exactly what the chances are of winning, which, well, of course, the thing is that when you know what to do, and I suppose that includes actually the last choice, the chances of winning aren't that bad. But if you sort of include that last random choice as an option in your chances of winning, then of course it goes down quite a bit. And maybe I should do that, because the thing is, you are at the end of a game and you are, that's the only thing left to choose. But yeah, anyway, I'll look at the numbers and I'll let you know. There certainly are a few places where you can go wrong in this one, even if you got good stats, I think. So so yes, I will look into that within the next few days, and I'll probably be back next week with most likely on Monday I'll be able to do the aftermath episode, and I'll start on the next one, which is, I know somebody was waiting for this one, Death Trap Dungeon, Fighting Fantasy game book number 6, and this is also first edition-ish. Let's see. This is the first reprint of the first edition, so 1984. And I used to have this one back in the 80s, but I can't remember playing it. So it'll be like it's new to me, which is brilliant, because I do like the novelty of every single book now that I haven't. It feels like I haven't played them before most of the time. Even Firetop Mountain, of course, I did play it so much. I remembered quite a bit, but even so, some of it felt quite fresh. This one's going to be pretty much all new to me, and that is a lovely blue color, by the way. This is also before the green spine. This is the star covers. Still haven't done the green spines. So yeah. So that's it for now. A shorter episode today because I did a save game and and of course a little bit of cheating, which I had to. In all fairness, and thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. And goodbye for now. Bye bye. Oh, there we are.